Okay, how's it going, everybody? I hope you're doing well. Okay, so in this episode, I thought I'd try to very briefly say something about the philosopher Rousseau and his great book on education, Emile. And basically, what I want to say something about is how it is he understands very early development. And more specifically, what it is he recommends that we do if we want to avoid turning our kids into spoiled adults. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. So what Rousseau says is that early on in its life, tears are a baby's way to communicate. And they naturally express her discomfort. In other words, initially, crying is a kind of a simple plea for help. And in this way, it's connected to the baby's real needs. That's to say, it's connected to its comfort and its survival. Now, all of this is completely natural and healthy, according to Rousseau. Okay, but here's the thing. At some point, the baby will realize that crying does something else as well. What she recognizes is that her tears have the power of making other people serve or attend to her. She realizes that she can make the world around her respond to her wishes and satisfy her desires. Her tears then become like commands. Now, what happens because of this is that the child becomes more and more removed from her natural needs and her real self, and more preoccupied with testing her power and controlling others. What was once a kind of healthy dependence and assistance from a parent has now become empire and domination over others. The child's become a young despot, as Rousseau puts it. She thinks she's the owner of the universe. Now, for Rousseau, this is absolutely not a good thing at all. And that's because what happens if a child heads in this direction is that they learn that control over things is more important than trying to adapt to things. They become expectant and self-entitled. And they think that the world revolves around them. They resort to manipulation with others to get what they want. And so they become more and more inauthentic and superficial. Now, because they've been allowed to think and act as if the world bends to their will, what happens when it doesn't is that they get angry. And as Seneca before him, who said of anger that no plague has cost the human race more, Rousseau also understood just how destructive it can be and how resentful and revengeful it can make somebody. Actually, let me just say something more about how it is Rousseau views anger, because it's pretty interesting. You see, for Rousseau, a person becomes angry for a couple of reasons. One, they get angry when they desire something that they just can't attain, which of course causes them to want to try to hurt those who prevented them from getting what they wanted. And two, they get angry when they feel slighted or judged by somebody else. But notice something very important then. In either case, anger is the consequence of a person's dependence on other people, whether it be to satisfy their desires or to have their value or worth acknowledged by another. So it's others that are basically in control. Now, it turns out that Rousseau's answer to this, in a nutshell, is to educate children not to have the desires that may be frustrated by others. And also not to educate them to have the concern for the opinions of others that causes people to react against insult. Anyway, so back to what I was saying a moment ago. So according to Rousseau, how do parents make sure their children don't turn into little tyrants? Well, I think the answer is partly something like this. That in teaching our children, we should make them dependent on things, not wills. In other words, we must make nature their master teacher. And this is because against nature, children will not rebel. I mean, all the pouting in the world won't stop the rain from falling, right? In nature, children are up against necessity, not the bendable and compliant will of others. In other words, nature's ways are completely unchangeable. Human beings have absolutely no control over them. Okay, so the best way of teaching your children is to, from time to time, disappear, so to speak, and allow them to confront nature in its inalterability. Having gotten used to the necessity of nature, they will stop seeing agency and responsibility everywhere. And so they will stop getting angry at and blaming others for not getting what they want. They will stop trying to manipulate the world and instead start to live with a little more deference and humility. In other words, they will have resigned themselves to accept what they can't control, to not desire what is impossible. They will start to live and act within the limits inscribed by nature. Or so says Rousseau. Bye for now.